Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki Zuisoroku, the fan disc material or the extras added to the PS3 version, the stories of the Shinsengumi. We're working on Toudou Heisuke now, and we're doing Shinsengumi Adventures 2 with him, which is the Shimbara thing. So let's see how he does with the whole geisha act. We'll be skipping the stuff that we have read before, but usually that still leaves us with enough stuff to make a full video. So I'll be showing you the choices along the way. Once again, we must infiltrate Shimbara. This time it might be nothing but... And this time I'm worried about him because Heisuke is like sulking. Was something wrong with Heisuke? He usually was one of the craziest ones, full of energy when the men started drinking, but for some reason he wasn't acting that way today. It looked like he hadn't even touched the expensive array of delicious food that had been placed in front of him either. That's really unlike him. Are you sick?
What's the matter, Toto? You don't like the food?
No, it's fine.
Knowing him, he probably went hunting for random food earlier and ate something bad. Huh, can't take you anywhere.
What? I wouldn't do that. I'm not like you, Shin. Besides, it's nothing. So just let go.
What the hell? Hey, we're just worried about you. We're definitely not cute right now.
I glanced over at Heisuke with no small amount of concern. Maybe he was sick. Maybe he's lovesick. Harada leaned in and lowered his voice so only I heard him.
Hey, Chizuru, would you mind going over to Heisuke and seeing what's wrong?
But should it really be me trying?
Yeah, I bet it'll perk right up if you do. Sorry for the trouble.
Okay. Harada said it was fine, but I still wasn't sure. Regardless, I made my way across the room toward Heisuke, observing how he sighed despondently and picked at the mat on the floor. Heisuke, you look a little down today. What's the matter?
Oh.
The second he heard my voice, his head whipped away from me, and he shifted awkwardly in his seat. Is he having the same reaction Saito did? Nothing much, really. Are you sure? I can have someone bring medicine if you're not feeling well. I already said I'm not sick. Oh, I'm glad. What was the problem then? I studied his face. He was very focused on keeping his gaze turned away. Maybe I didn't look good in this kimono. I'd change out of it if I could, but I had to wear it for as long as I stay undercover in the sumi. Would you like something to drink? I can pour some for you if you want. Oh, okay. Maybe just a little, I guess. Right, here. Relieved that I could do at least one thing for him, I reached for the bottle of sake, but he still refused to look at me, his head turned the opposite direction. Oh, come on, you're totally copying off of Saito. For some reason, his mood seemed to have soured even more than it had been earlier. The downturn of his mouth made his expression visibly depressed. Heisuke? I desperately wanted him to turn and look at me, but his head didn't move an inch. He didn't look too happy about it, though. Lips pursed and forehead drawn down, his reply when it finally came was curt. What? Did I do something to upset you? I looked pretty and made other guys look at me. I thought long and hard about what I could have possibly done recently that might have offended him accidentally, but I couldn't recall anything. I didn't know him inside and out, of course, so there was still a chance. No one's saying that. The words were sharp like daggers, as if he was trying to erect a wall. It was obvious that he was trying to keep things bottled inside. If only he would tell me. But you're not acting like yourself today. If there's something you're stressed about, I'm more than happy to listen to you. I'm not stressed. And with that, a pained grimace crossed his face, and he didn't speak again. A sharp ache continued to grow in my chest. Just watching him suffer, it was clear he was, despite what he said, was too painful. He refuted everything I could think of that was wrong, so it had to be... I knew it. You didn't want me to pour sake for you. Should I call for another geisha to attend to you? They would do better. Heisuke's head snapped around immediately, and he leaned toward me earnestly. Jeez, man. No, it's not like that. You don't have to look so angry. I mean, it can't be anyone else. So don't you dare think about going to serve another guest. Yep, you don't want me serving anybody else, you don't want anyone looking at me. The moment the words escaped his lips, his eyes widened, and he gulped. Consternation flashed across his face. I blinked. Did that mean he didn't want me to go? What do you mean? You don't want someone else then? Oh, If I hadn't known better, I would have sworn he was drunk, as his face was a bright shade of red, but he hadn't touched a drop. How can I explain? His eyes darted back and forth as he tried to come up with the words he wanted to say. The flesh on his ears and cheeks darkened even more. I've had enough of this. I can't take that you're here. His voice increased in volume until by the end, he was shouting. He slammed his sake cup on the table, the liquid sloshing. Is he really going to confess right here? What? Why do you have to be dressed up this way and in Shimbara? I don't like it. His chest heaved from his outburst. How could I answer him? I don't know what to say. I'm doing all this so we can figure out what the suspicious group of men are doing in the city as quickly as possible. Before we even decided on this plan of action, Harada had said that this was the best way. We need that information. Heisuke shrugged and turned his back to me with an irritated huff. I know that. It's your job to attend and serve sake to a bunch of men, but to picture it. He spoke so low, nearly mumbling, that I couldn't hear him. Huh? What did you say? My words seemed to bounce, unheard, off his back. That does it. There's no way you're staying here. Suddenly his shoulders squared and his back straightened. He stood up, grabbing one of my wrists, pulling me up with him. I had no idea what he was doing. You can't take me out of here. A tug on my hand was my only warning, and then he was dragging me behind him as he ran out of the room. Not good! Help! Guys, stop him! He's ruining things! Heisuke, where are we going? Can't you tell? Back to headquarters. Huh? Wait! Where do you... Go back? But I'm still in the middle of my mission. His face screwed up into an angry glower, and he began to mumble under his breath again. I wasn't sure if he meant for me to hear or not. I was totally against the idea from the beginning anyway. I only came along to visit you with everyone because they said I'd be able to see you all made up and beautiful, but... You shouldn't be in a place like this. I've never felt more right about anything before. I know I'm right. As soon as we made it outside the Sumi, we came to an abrupt halt. A group of warriors stood in front of us. Can you defeat them all, Heisuke?
So, you're sure a bunch of Shinsengumi leaders went inside this place, right?
Yeah, I'm positive. I bet they're all drunk and goofing off by now. Well, they won't notice anything, not in front of their noses.
So that means, if we were to attack them, then now would be the time?
Their conversation sounded dangerous, and Heisuke picked it up immediately. He moved toward them, his voice low and demanding. Hey, what's going on? You aren't planning something stupid, are you? Startled, the men spun to look at him. A good number of them frowned in recognition. I guess Heisuke knows he can take them on himself if, he didn't bother to go back to the other guys.
Wait, he's one of the Shinsengumi guys who went inside earlier.
Did he overhear our conversation about attacking their headquarters? Yep. Heisuke's face hardened, so did his voice. Did you say...
Forget it. Just get him. Kill them now or later, it doesn't matter.
The warrior slid his sword out of its scabbard with a hiss of metal. Ooh, look at you. Bold move. You must be ready to die. You know you're facing off against Heisuke Todo, captain of the Shinsengumi's 8th Division, right? In one smooth motion, he drew his own sword, the blade glinting dully in the dim light as he pointed it toward the Ronin. Huh, Heisuke! Go hide inside the Sumi until this is over. Don't worry, I got this in the bag. I think I'll go after the other guys. But there were at least 10 large men facing him. He looked to be at a horrible disadvantage. Well, I think he's got the adrenaline running from being mad that I'm here.
Hey, come back, Heisuke. What the hell are you thinking, taking her outside?
Ah, so they were paying attention. And they can help.
It's not like we don't know where you're coming from. We do, but it can't be helped right now.
Nagakura and Harada trotted up through the Sumi's entrance after us, but skid to a halt when they realized Heisuke was surrounded.
So, what's going on here? Having a party with this disagreeable lot and forget to invite us?
They asked me to dance first, but they did let it slip that they have plans for an even bigger one later, when they attack Shinsengumi headquarters.
They have some balls for keeping it a surprise. A party that big needs careful planning, so it goes smoothly, doesn't it? But you think if they wanted to keep it a secret, they wouldn't meet at a place we go to all the time. What a shame it's ruined now. What are they? Whatever, just kill them. Some Shinsengumi heads would make perfect souvenirs when we return victorious.
Yeah, like that's happening. A cacophony of sound exploded as blades clashed. A large battle ensued, but I watched as the Ronin were soundly beaten back. Thanks to the swift action by Hijikata and the captains, the entire plot was prevented before they could even attack. And thanks to me and, Heisuke. Don't forget us. A few days later, I was walking on rounds with Heisuke in the 8th Division. The streets had been peaceful ever since that night. The group of suspicious men stopped showing up in the area, and it seemed, at least for now, that Kyoto was safe. It's all thanks to you, Heisuke. Don't give him too much credit, it'll go to his head.
Huh? What are you talking about?
The arrest at Shimbara the other day, of course. You realized the warriors gathered there were about to go after you and the others, so you tried to get me away, right?
What? Well, I guess.
Trying to convince him to take credit? He looked away, studiously avoiding catching my eye. His answers were strangely vague. What? You don't remember? It really was because of you everything turned out fine. Thank you. Ah, man, Chizuru being oblivious.
Well...
A pained, unhappy expression crossed his face, and he glanced down at his feet. His grand gesture was for nothing. Did he not want the credit?
Hey, guys, go on ahead. We have something to discuss. We'll catch up.
Several of the men under his command nodded in affirmation, and they all continued down the street. Rolling his shoulders uncomfortably, he turned to me. Now that the men were gone, he looked hesitant to speak. Come on, you can tell me.
To tell the truth, that wasn't why.
What do you mean? If I hadn't known better, I would have thought he'd just gotten caught sneaking into Hijikata's room. His eyes widened at first, and then he started sweating.
Well, I, just didn't like that you were at a place like that, and dressed like a geisha, too.
So, that means you thought I didn't look good in that kimono? I knew it. It just didn't suit me.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You looked pretty. Actually, you were way prettier than any other geisha I've seen.
He ran a hand through his hair distractedly. I watched as he began worrying his lip, eyes distant. He seemed to be trying to come up with the words he wanted to say. I'm not making it easy for him. Suddenly, he looked at the ground, scratched his nose, and mumbled.
Geisha and Shimbara have to pour sake, entertain, and, well, flirt with a lot of men every day. That's their job, you know? The thing is, it's stupid, but imagining you doing those things with another man, it just made me frustrated and, I don't know. Even back when you first put the kimono on to show us, you looked really cute. I felt like I didn't want anyone else to see you like that.
Oh, he actually confessed. Bright red and visibly uncomfortable, as soon as he finished blurting out what he wanted to say, he shut his mouth. The flush on his face darkened another shade. He scuffed a toe in the dirt. Come on, Chizuru, you can't be oblivious after that.
I'm sorry. I know it's not my place to say anything like this to you, but
He was obviously conflicted. I could see it on his face. His words weren't commanding like Hijikata's, or smooth like something Harada would say, but they were honest, bumbling and clumsy. I could still feel he truly meant what he said. Okay, I understand. I promise I'll never do something like that again. Heisuke's head shot up in surprise.
You won't?
Why does he look mischievous like that? I nodded. The sudden smile he gave me overwhelmed me with its brilliance. I was momentarily stunned, blinking.
That's great. Thanks, Chizuru.
He grinned, bouncing on his heels a bit, suddenly full of energy.
Hey, if a day comes when you get to wear a kimono again, well... Can I see you in it? Just me this time, and none of the other guys.
If I ever get the chance, sure. It'll be a waste if nobody else gets to see it.
All right.
He pumped his fist, his excited shout bouncing off the walls. He turned and beckoned to me with a wave.
Let's get going, Chizuru. We better get back to our rounds.
Okay. His mood was completely the reverse of earlier. Seeing him back to his old self made me happy. It hurt to see him so troubled. But did the fact that he wanted to be the only one to see me in a woman's kimono mean he had deeper feelings toward me? How could you take it any other way? There's no other way to take it. No, I was reading too much into it. How? How can you misunderstand? But I silently made a wish that there really would be a day when I could wear a kimono just for him. Okay, some of the times I can understand that Chizuru kind of deludes herself because, she's got a little bit of low self-esteem and, she's humble, but that was taking things just a little bit too far. It's like, how could you possibly construe this any other way? It doesn't make sense. But really, that's the only time I felt that strongly about it in this game so far. The whole oblivious factor that most heroines have in otome games. Alright, well, that wasn't particularly long as far as the Shimbara episodes have gone for the guys, but I'm still gonna cut it there because last video was so long and I don't want that to happen to this one. Cause, yeah, my voice has been really wearing lately. Because I've been working really hard last couple days. So, I will see you in the next video, hopefully. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.